Kristen is here.
What's happening, Captain?
Wow, look at who we have here.
Hi Kristen, can you hear us? Hmm? No, she's muted.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah, today's my day off. So much for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I scheduled my day off today and tomorrow to take care of business.
Yep.
What is it doing?
Lori won't be here tomorrow.
Yeah, well, that's her loss, not mine. How do you like that for an answer, Mr. Sheriff?
Perfect.
But we will be here tomorrow at 9.
That's fine. I got your email.
Thank you.
I'm just starting the meeting.
Lori, a long time no
David.
see. Where have you been hiding?
Down there.
I should give you a hug.
Oh,
How you
Hey
doing?
Matt, can you see
good,
us?
how are you?
Good.
Can you hear us?
Carl? Good.
All right.
Give us 3 hours and I'll tell you later.
This was said 2 to 4.
I assume.
Everything is subject to
Well,
change.
Am I ever
Looks like
gonna
it.
not?
It's,
All right, I'm gonna call the,
Nope.
Matthew Romeyer online.
thank you, Budget and Financial Review Subcommittee to order, roll call. We have, let's see who's online. Matthew Rumai and Kristen Ballard, Elroy, Dave, Lori, and Charlie Morse. We have no public participation scheduled. Discussion proposed budget 2026-27 municipal budget. We have a budget book in front of us. And the first is budget notes and comments for Mr. Morse, which is page 1 of 3. You got that, Dave?
Yep.
Okay. We have IBEW by contract. It's a 4.75% increase with 2% steps plus 2.75% adjustment. Police union is 4.5 to 5%, steps vary plus 2% adjustment. Mitch, Charlene, pool director get a 3%. Everybody else gets 5%. Is that?
Those are, there is nothing in writing of what those amounts are. That is what the manager told me to budget.
Okay.
The 2 unions are
The
set.
former manager.
The former manager, yes, that is, today's Monday, isn't it? The former manager, the 2 unions are set, no one else is set. It's discretion of the municipal manager.
Okay. Manager salary budget at 115,230. The question is that enough? We'll return to that. Insurance is based on a 2-person plan. Chief budget is 106.140, insurance based on a 2-person plan. Officers, we list the officers' budget for the July 26 budget with family plans, 2-person plans, and the hourly wage. Uniforms may be low if we have a full crew, that would be the police department. Okay. Ambulance, current, they've got a July pay increase of essentially over 9%, and request to increase play crews responding to call from 2 to 4 people. Jeff said no. Request to transfer crew from 2 days work, 2 days a week to 5 days a week to 5 days a week, 6 hours a day. Jeff said no. Equipment purchase account 846 is in question. And is that for ambulance?
Yes,
Okay.
it's all indented from the ambulance. There was a request, there was a request of 16.5, Jeff increased it from 2,500 to 5,000, not to 16.5, so I didn't know what exactly the 5,000 was representing.
Okay, page 2, the overtime question, is that for?
Town highway?
Oh, I had
Your
my
thumb
thumb, I
was
had
on
my
it.
thumb over the town highway. Overtime question, whether that needs to be adjusted. Salt, I just discovered that salt's gone from $90 a ton to $101.75 a ton, over 10% increase. Vehicle maintenance, this is an ongoing dilemma. How long should we keep equipment? Is it worth trading after warranty period is over? There is some discussion about that when we get into the line item. Just so you know, we just spent $900 to get one of our big trucks sent up to Charlevoix
Charlie Boys.
to get the computer read. Then we ordered the $128 part that was needed to fix the deficiency in the computer, and that took 4 days. So it took 5 days for the orders to ship. We spent $900 to get up there, all because we didn't have the computer to read it, which is interesting because you could probably buy the technology to do that. But since we have so many different forms of equipment, we've got Mac, International, Western Star, Dodge, Ford, Chevy, that one computer is not gonna do it all.
And the other question is when it's warranty work, if the dealer's gonna make you bring it back to the dealer anyway, which means we won't get out of the towing. If the dealer is Charlie Boy, then we gotta get the truck there.
Right. Cemetery budgeted 3% for Bruce Wright. Support services, always a question. We've got, VLCT has got some coverage for the EEOCs, and lawsuits are covered by passive, so a number of, legal expenses, your crystal ball is bright and shiny.
No,
So, given,
Never is, but that.
not for that account.
I we'll probably end up going with something close to actuals for this year, which will be expensive. Audit cost for the 24-25 audit increased to $45,000 for a standard audit, plus $7,000 for a single audit. The town has allocated 50% budget, 5% increase. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Reminder, the cost of the 24-25 audit occurs in the 25-26 fiscal year. CIP, listers appraisal will be short $1,000. We can do 1 year or split over 2 years. We should add $1,000 to the $1,000 to $1,500 for tax maps. Ambulance building has a deficit of $5,392. We should do an increase budget. We should increase the budget. Municipal building improvements has a deficit of $1,048. We should increase the budget, and we should also budget for the town clerk's vault, which is at its capacity. And we can all do a site visit at the town clerk's vault to see what I'm talking about. Grounds walkway at Dog River Park has a deficit of $2,560. Highway, the Slaughterhouse Bridge, we spent a lot of money on that. Main Street Bridge still needs to be made up with the not matching funds, what do you call those? Our portion.
Yeah, the match.
The matching funds, which is 10%, right?
Yes.
And-
No, I have to double check that bridge. It changes on all of them.
Right, so,
But the problem with that is it keeps getting delayed, and every time it gets delayed, the price goes up.
right. Paving, Jeff has indicated to take our match for the Lover's Lane grant from paving project. The match will be approximately $45,240. The paving budget is already a deficit of $2,940. This would increase the deficit to $48,180. We can increase the paving budget, or it may be clear just to budget the Lover's Lane match as a separate line item. Police computers are in deficit of $5,850, need to budget money. Ambulance should add money for auto pulse batteries, need to replace every 5 years. Would be a deficit of approximately $7,000, perhaps budget $8420 for the deficit plus 1 year set aside. All capital budgets, especially highway, the cost of equipment is probably not accurate, therefore set-asides are probably low, and I can address some of that. Going to our book.
So apologies for the one, Dave, that not having your name at the top. I didn't realize at the time I did it that we were having this meeting, and I did it in about 3 minutes. So also apologize for the spellings that I just saw.
Yes, no problem.
Page, the first page, these are not numbered, so we'll just go
Can I
through.
ask
Yes, they
before
were.
we start going through the book, a few questions to our financial director?
Well, yes, Dave, this is
The
an open,
pages are numbered. Where did you get your pages?
that's the one you gave me.
So, how did the town,
No, that's Kim's copy. See, Kim, that's her copy.
Okay,
Here, go to the,
yeah.
what they requested is in the book beginning, go to the, here,
all right,
and then turn a couple pages, those are numbered. Phew, had me worried there for a minute.
all right, sorry.
Yes,
So, we really didn't get a final, where we ended the last fiscal year and what our surpluses are. I'd like to know that before we start discussing.
so we don't have the audit yet, finalized.
Well, you have the
So,
numbers and I feel very confident in your
I-
numbers.
Well, I just closed the year in
Good.
December.
Thank you for your hard work in that.
And I'll get you,
So in your package, you didn't get in the very back financial statements?
I'm not sure, okay, I'll make you,
I did not.
so the town general, the undesignated fund balance, June 30, 2025, for the town general, $660,079. Town highway undesignated, $81,066.
I would like a copy.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yep.
you need anything else, Dave?
Not at the moment.
Hey, going back to page 1. Town general budget worksheets, you can see where they are. We'll start going through the budget, individually. You go to page 6, which is my favorite one. No. Where's revenue?
Page 3.
Did I miss that already?
No, I always hate this, like, see the revenue last.
So, page 3, revenue. If you go to the appropriated and the actuals and you make a comparison, we had a spike in zoning permits for 24-25, which was, I think, anomaly, and I think it's appropriate to adjust it up, but maybe not up to that big a number, so we've increased it by 1,000. 27, the next line is the town clerk fees. 27,119 was the actual for 24-25, and we budgeted for 30, and I think we're probably on track with that. I don't know.
So when you say budgeted for 30, the 25-26 year that we're in was budgeted for 30. The budget before you is 27.
Right.
Okay, I just wanted,
So if you're just looking at the fees, they hover around $27,000 over the line. So I think 27 is a reasonable number. You guys can dispute that. We had passport fees. We've gone anywhere from 6,500. We went one year we had 11,000. The other year we had 5,000. We've been consistently budgeting, appropriating 3,000. Budgeting for 3,000, and it's been increased to 4,000. Anybody think that we should take it up higher than that? Then we go to the next line, vault time. I gotta tell you, I don't know why. What's that mean?
state of Vermont, it's vault research. The state of, all of these, vault time, vault copies, DMV renewal, Green Mountain passport, certified copies, marriage, they all used to be included in town clerk fees. If you look back a few years ago,
Okay.
the state mandated that they're broken out with the
Thank you.
town clerk. That's why they're broken out.
Thank you. Certified copies have gone actuals from 3,800, 3,900, 5,200, 7,300, So, now we're budgeting we're increased, last year we appropriated 4,300, this year we're appropriating 5,000, increasing that revenue line. Fish and wildlife fees, waterfowl fees are pretty nominal and not material to the budget as far as I'm concerned. Insurance fees are, have hovered actuals to 2,000, 1,700, and 1,300. We're budgeting 1,500. Fingerprinting, it's been, who are we fingerprinting? Is that for employment?
No, well, it can be for anything. Sometimes, families would like their children fingerprinted.
Okay.
Sometimes somebody needs it done for their job employment. It's simply if, somebody in the public is requesting that.
Right, so, the last actual we had was $795, so $750 sounds reasonable to me. EV charger fees, that's new, actual was $442, we're budgeting $400. Special detail police, grant, is budgeted at, let's see, actuals for 24-25 was 0. We budgeted 2,100. The request is to budget the same amount, 2,100, for special detail police grant. I don't know if we need to have that as.
So it's really not, so in their budget, we have 1,500. So it's if the officers work a special detail, we have to pay them. So we have that we would pay them 1,500 and then we'd recoup about 2,000. So if we zero one, we need to zero them both, that's all.
What do you
Because they're
think, Dave?
related.
I'd say leave it.
Very well. Next one is special detail ambulance. Actuals have been 6,500, 6,000, 9,000. We're budgeting for 7,000. Ambulance Berlin Roxbury, that's a income generated by an agreement. Is it a memorandum of understanding or is it just an agreement?
I don't
That those two
actually know.
those two communities are donating money so to offset the cost of us providing them coverage, Roxbury and the Route 12 corridor in Berlin.
Jeff, that's an increase. Jeff asked me to put in $40 per capita. It was 38 this year.
So we've increased the per capita cost.
He put in the budget for you to, yes,
Right.
yep, to go to 40.
And the ask for the ambulance department has a communication device that's going to provide communications through, is it something Star, isn't it? Oh, it's that Musk thing. He's got, they've got a portable version of that, can be used as needed. It's not all the time, whether we put that in. But that would be improving the communications in those communities, because there's no cell reception in Roxbury, and Berlin is pretty sketchy on the Route 12 corridor, with my service, anyway. And I hate, let's see, ambulance fees, insurance not allowed. Actuals for 22-23, it was $305,585 were not allowed. Next year it was $259,161 that was not allowed. 24-25, the actual was $444,000 not allowed, and the budget is $450,000. You agree?
Did you cover the $1.2 million in ambulance fees? I didn't hear you say that. At the top, just the top
Oh,
section.
did I skip that? I did,
I think
thank
you
you.
did.
So, 22-23 actual was 791.38. 23-24 actuals were 739,443, and the 24-25 actuals were $1,250,642.95. We're budgeting $1,200,000.
So my question is, that's a $300,000 difference from the last appropriation. Is that what I'm reading?
Right, so in 24-25, I believe the board adjusted the rates. And I'm not sure how we got out of sync of, I don't know why we do the budget and then the rates get adjusted in
Yeah,
April.
it was like really quick, right after.
Right, like, if we're gonna adjust them, I have not been involved in an ambulance rate increase for like 6 years. I don't know,
Well, we've asked this question as a board
I don't know
before.
why, but I have not seen any of the rate increases until after they're approved by the board. Jeff left this particular, the prior manager left this particular area blank on the budget worksheets he gave me, so I simply put in 1.2 million, cause that's what we billed
What
in
we-
24 or 25. Well, we billed 1,250,000, so I put 1.2 million in. I'm hoping we're not looking at another rate increase.
Well, we may have to.
Well, your rate increase is great to think about you know, 2 lines below that is what they don't allow. So you had actuals of $1,250,000, $642, but of that, we did not recover $444,379.
So roughly speaking, I haven't looked at the numbers for a while, but roughly speaking, 60% of your calls are Medicare.
Yeah,
And
I remember you
so
saying that
they have to
us.
be, and we are billing above Medicare rates. So every time you have a rate increase, you're not gonna recoup the increase, 60% of the increase that is Medicare is
Right.
just gonna go on the write-off.
This
So
just
it's
goes-
cost shifting.
This just reinforces my point for the last 3 years about all the requests that the ambulance department has been making to increase salaries, et cetera. We're getting to the point of, it's gonna start, right now it's pretty balanced, but if we have a severe increase, which is yet to be determined because of union negotiations.
Right. And that's a much, I mean, that, as you know, is a very involved conversation because
Right.
part of, it's that balance between providing a service
100%.
to Northfield and providing a service outside of that.
Yep,
You know, the non-emergency transfers
exactly.
to other areas.
But it's really getting, with these numbers, it's really getting to be an important subject to really scour. And
Yes,
have, for the board to have a real hard discussion on.
that will be more than one meeting, yes.
Ambulance fees allowed, bad debt and abatement, actuals in 22-23 were 32,000. Next year was 22,000, the year after, and last year it was $81,735 in bad debt. So if you take that 444 and add 81,000 to it, you're getting into $500,000 of bad debt that the ambulance, that we can't recover from servicing the ambulance.
Can you, address that 81,000? Did I recall that that was an accumulation?
That, it was several years since we went with MBS. However, we make an adjustment every year that is just an estimated allowance for bad debt
Okay,
to try to keep the books in balance if the board hasn't actually, we haven't actually given the board the abatements. So each year, we try to look at the bad debt and we make an estimated allowance against the debt. So it's not that we don't look at it for 5 years.
Right.
We look at it every year, but just the actual abating them. But the higher I think it's about 6%, 735 divided by 125.
I remember we having a similar discussion when we entertained the abatement, but I was trying to understand it currently.
Right.
Why that spike?
Well, one, because it's 1.2 million. So, I usually budget 6% for bad debt.
Okay,
10% of 1.2 million would be 120,000.
So 81,000 is 6.5% of the actual.
So, yeah, so we're just keeping, that's right, that number floats, cool. Mechanic fees,
That's
are
an
what they are,
internal
that's,
charge.
it's, yeah, right, it's an intermunicipal charge. Norwich University donates, they started off with 233,970 in 22-23, 235 in 23-24, 235 in 24-23, and, we're budgeting for 242.50. Is that a contract, or is that?
I was gonna ask you that.
It is not.
I,
The town manager did not follow through.
Okay, so let's take that down to 235 in hopes that it'll remain.
So I will follow up with those remarks after tomorrow's meeting.
Okay,
I intend to inform Norwich of all the changes and to make sure that contract is signed.
well, my pen just died. All right, so I'm gonna, I don't have a highlighter.
so,
Because there is currently a proposed 5-year contract,
right.
very similar to these numbers.
And I think the only thing I saw was an email suggesting that they were doing this year's number. But there was no,
Yeah,
no contract
well,
that
that was
I'm
the
aware
lack
of.
of follow-through through the manager.
So are we saying to put it down to 235, or?
Well, I think we would I'll have a better, I didn't come prepared with that email, or maybe I have it. I'd rather hold off on, to give you the exact, what the proposal was in the
Okay.
original.
Well, hi, Chris.
How are you doing, sir?
Good. All right, so we wanna leave that at 242, or you wanna?
For now. I
Right,
mean, but
I've
that's-
highlighted it anyway.
I just wanna make sure that's subject to change.
Okay. Pool daily interest fees, that's, last year we had set 7360, this year we have 5,000, the budget has 5,000. And it's, who knows what that's gonna be. Love to have people swimming, but swimming lessons, what they are. Pool passes, we had 19,866.
I know, I looked at that number like 5 times, cause
Really? Well, it was,
Now,
so
there was-
we've been budgeting pool passes 22, 23. We had budgeted 8,000, actuals were 7513. The next year we budgeted 8,000, the actuals were 14,246. The next year we budgeted 7,500, the actuals were 19,886. This current year is budgeted 8,500. We still have some of the pool year left, so
Now, in the pool passes, one of the years, there was there were additional funds that, it was a couple $1,000s, wasn't it? And then, so we gave out free pool passes based on, like, we got like
Scholarships.
$2,000 or something, so then we gave out $2,000 worth of free pool passes. I don't remember the exact number, that would be included in there as an oddity. You know,
But that's still.
meaning it wouldn't necessarily repeat.
And what was our increase in fee last year over the year before? So it's either an increase in fee or increase in usage or a combination thereof.
Or coding when they're entering the pool.
So, that is a heck of a jump.
it is, and they've increased the budget to 10,000 based on actuals, I presume, which is still lower than 2 previous years, so.
Yeah, that's half of what it was last year.
Right, and it is,
$4,000 less than it was the year before.
right, which is 30%
I think you
roughly.
need to look at that.
Right.
But we just can't, we gotta get the facts. I mean, what precipitated that 19,000 and 20 grand call?
Okay,
I would look at that.
swim lessons, were actuals 3,300, 2,942, 1,900, so they've budgeted 1,500, and that's okay with me.
Yeah.
The park pool rental fee donations have come in at actuals in 22-23 were 3,650, then 1,500, and then 1,350. They're budgeting for 1,500. The General government administration for the folks that are attending, Lori, would you just explain that, please?
Oh, general government admin, that is a charge, that has been around, I think as long as I've been here. It dealt with for the Board of Trustees, and when there was a village, and it was a fee charged to the electric, water, sewer, for items that the trustees, just in general government, took care of, that because they were the governing board for the electric, water, sewer, we had this intercompany charge of a flat fee. When the town and the village merged, there was an agreement that we would just maintain the same fee, and we did not increase it. It has never been increased. It's just been that fee. I will say at the time, I mean, the select board isn't, for instance, the trustees of the select board being paid, they're not paid now. We'd have to but there is just items that are of general administrative type things that we do not necessarily direct charge to electric, water, sewer.
Okay.
But
That
it's
are not
not,
a lot.
but it would be hard to tie. We've just maintained the fee from 2013 before merger.
So it's safe to say that general admin expenses are line items on the utility budgets, right? So some administrative costs are on the utility line item budget. This is in addition to those.
Correct. This is just a flat fee in addition. Some items, like the manager's salary, is direct billed to electric, water, sewer, and the town.
Right.
If I buy a chair for the manager, it's direct billed to all four. So this would cover items that aren't. For instance, the VLCTs, employment liability, I believe the town pays for the whole thing, and then we just, because there's, and then
Gotcha.
we just let it be covered through this general government admin fee.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, actuals for accounting fees, 110,600, and then it went up to 118, then it went to 125, 170, and it's pretty clear that we know what that number is going to be.
It's an intercompany charge that's a percent of whatever the budget is, so it
Right.
doesn't change. I mean, it doesn't change from the actual, it changes every year, because it's 41% of the accounting department budget is billed to the utilities.
Thank you. Delinquent tax penalty. 22-23 was 16,700. Next year was 22,200. Year after that is 19,700, and now it's at 20,000 recommended. Anybody see any reason for that discussion? Thank you. Delinquent tax interest, 19,800 for 2023, 22-23. 19,500 for 23-24 actuals, 13,900 for 24-25 actuals on delinquent tax interest. And we're budgeting, this year we've got it in there for 20,000, and it's budgeted for 17,000 to reflect a.
Well, so along that line, you may look and go, well, 13 would be low, so either the quicker you go to tax sale, or the higher the pressure to collect. If you collect, then the faster you collect, the less interest.
Right.
However, now the law reversed and changed so that we can't, used to be able to go to tax sale within 20 days. Not that we ever did that, but 20 days from the delinquency, you could go to tax sale. That law has changed, and I don't remember because I'm not involved in that now. But I'm not sure that we can go for a full year.
It's
So that process, by delaying when we can go to tax sale, will increase interest building.
right, and that is just to go down there. That tax law was changed in May of '24. It requires that there be a agreement, an offer for a payment plan, and then it has a limit or a minimum of $1,500 before you can go to tax sale. So you can't tax sale below 1,500.
Right. In a number of years, isn't it, also, I think?
And then, yeah, the
Or
annual,
you have to wait, I think you have to wait a year instead of 20 days, I'm not
Right.
sure.
so, and you're right, there is a year. So, tax sale fees, they've gone from 12,900 to 10,700 to 3,500, 3,600, and now it's down to 5,000.
That's gonna be whatever, so on your legal expense, we're gonna pay an attorney to do the tax sale. And here, we only recoup it, so we only recoup that fee if and when the delinquent taxpayer pays. Because then it goes to, we pay the attorney cost in all interest, and then any other balance is prorated between penalty and taxes. So we can incur legal fees, but if the property, for instance, doesn't sell at tax sale, then we're not recouping those fees. So we can incur the expense and not recoup, or we can incur the expense in 1 year and not recoup it for 1 or 2 years later. So the expense of paying the attorney, you'll see under legal fee. This is if the delinquent taxpayer pays us or we're reimbursed through tax sale, the attorney fee portion.
They've changed the rules and it's costing us money.
So it fluctuates.
So it fluctuates.
Core local fines, that's not material to the budget. Last year, actual was 553, we've budgeted 600. Zoning fines and penalties, it's rare that we have those, but there was an actual for 24-25 for $100, but the years before that it was zeroed. Speeding fines, actuals were 2,800, 6,500, 4,200, and so now we're budgeting at 4,000. Parking fines, 350. We've had 1 year we had 0 parking fines, then we had a let's see, am I right on that? Yeah, then we had $1,300 in parking fines, and then we had $110 in parking fines. So it's been budgeted.
It's really a placeholder. The $200 is a placeholder.
Right. Railroad tax, that's pretty standard. You know what's coming in.
Yep.
State class, so state aid, class 1, 2, and 3, are known through the state, so we don't have to adjust those anywhere. One's at 28,000. State one, class 1 is 28,000 from the state, 22,000 for class 2. Class 3 is 115,000. You can then go down to grant state and federal, that's 0. That was, I guess, a special case in 23-24. Have the property tax interest has gone from actuals of 6,200, 5,400, 7,700, so we're budgeting 6,000. Interest on investments has been actuals 40,000, 70,000, 88,000, and we're budgeting for 40. We increased the budget last year from 10,000 to 40. I think it's reasonable to increase that to 60. We don't know what interest rates are going to do, and but the trend is that we're under budgeting the interest on investments. Line item 4710.
Yeah, well, my only comment would be that the big spikes were COVID funding that we had.
COVID interest is in let me rephrase that. The ARPA State and Local Recovery Fund of the 1.9 million was in a total separate fund
So
and was
it
not
did not
here.
reflective of that.
No.
Wow. Okay,
It was not.
so maybe 60 grand is the right
I'd like to
number.
pencil it in. So are we,
So what is that encompassing?
That is the town general fund, that's the cash flow for the town general fund.
I
So, as property taxes come in, we may be sitting on quite a bit of cash. We have 20 days to pay the school. I pay the school their portion on the 20th day.
Yeah,
So,
So we capture as
have-
much
we-
revenue as possible in a favorable account.
correct.
Got
We
it.
have a CD and then we have, another account that's a sweep, so that we're.
Another
giving-
account that's
A sweep account, so
Sweep
we're
account, right.
earning as, it sweeps every night into an investment account, and then as checks clear, it sweeps back enough just to cover the check, so that, I think we're required to maintain a $50,000 balance, but they sweep everything but that 50 every night, so it's earning interest in a better account than the checking account. And then separate from that, we have a CD.
So I'd like to up that line up to 60. Thank you. Cemetery miscellaneous fees, we had, let's see, we've had as much as, let's see, actuals of 5,000, 6,000, 8,400, and we bumped it up to 6,000. That sounds reasonable to me. The cemetery lot sales are 1,400, 86 and 25, and now we're budgeting for 3. Why was 23, 24 so high? Any idea that was after COVID?
Did you increase the rates in 24, 25? I know a lot of people bought their lots. I can't remember when that happened.
Okay.
Some people bought their lots before the increase
I
went up.
think it was last
Yeah,
year.
that makes sense.
Yeah, and just, so the cemetery miscellaneous fees, you're gonna turn right around and pay that out to the cemetery
Right.
superintendent. And part of the lot fee is going to the superintendent.
Rent for the municipality is based on the
That's-
budget.
Yep, that's intercompany charge
Right.
based on the budget.
Rent town garage, same thing.
Correct.
So those numbers are based on a percentage.
The municipal building is electric, water, sewer, the town garage is the ambulance, and although we may think we're charging ourselves, we do that so we could substantiate the ambulance department expenses so that we can substantiate our rates. Especially if we ever had an insurance, if,
Audit.
yes, review. I didn't wanna say investigation, cause I didn't mean that, just
Audit.
occasionally they do periodic reviews.
Sure.
So we wanna track the cost as accurately as possible, so,
Miscellaneous NSF, what does NSF stand for?
bounce checks,
Bounce checks, gotcha, I figured non-sufficient funds.
non-sufficient funds.
We don't have a lot of that, so we go down, refunds, insurance claims, equipment rental. What are we generating revenue for rental?
That's another intercompany charge for
Backhoes at one
the
point, I
backhoe, I
remember.
think it's the backhoe loader.
Yeah.
But the utilities own the backhoe.
So
So,
I believe that there was also use of the town highway backhoe, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah,
I can't remember specifically.
well, in 2000, we didn't have, we had to rent, we had to pay the utility department for a backhoe to change a culvert. After Irene, this
Oh, it's
guy
the
named
loader.
Chris Badley made an argument better than anybody else had been able to make to date, that we buy an
No,
excavator.
the
Yeah,
exact quote
but the-
was he had a hell of a PowerPoint presentation. That's what the
I
exact
believe the
quote.
loader though is, they can't use their machine to load the sludge. I think the loader is actually loading
Yeah.
sludge.
Right, and we own the loader and we've kept the sack.
So it's $4,000.
$4,000 to load sludge.
Yes,
Hey. Let's see, sale of land buildings, we sold something back in 22, 23 for a cost of $10,950. What did we sell?
that was a tax sale that went through and then sold back to the original owner. It was a complicated way of having to
Okay,
record the transaction.
well,
Was that
we're
on
on
Water
budget.
Street or was that on, next to Northfield Wood Products?
If it's the one I'm thinking, it was neither, it was
Okay.
Northfield Wood Products, it was
that
in the
far.
falls,
Oh, okay. Oh, yes.
by, yeah,
Mhm.
Land use withdrawal fee, so that's been, budgeted, that we've seen
oh, we
that,
don't budget that one, yeah. So the, well, current use
right?
is above that,
Or did I skip a line?
yeah,
No, my bad.
I'm sorry.
Current use, state of Vermont revenue, 22, 23 was 157.90. 23-24 actual was 153,298. 24-25 was 162,314, and we had it budgeted for this year for 148. Next year, we're budgeting 155. Anybody wanna bet that land use is gonna go away with, in the future? And then land use withdrawal fee is, 6,000 actual in 22-23. And the next time it was 24-25 because somebody withdrew from,
Right, we don't budget for that, cause it doesn't generally happen.
right,
So if somebody withdraw, you can't withdraw from land use without penalties. So once you're in land use, you're locked in. If you withdraw, you have to, the state handles it, you have to pay a certain number of years back in taxes because you gain the benefit of reduced tax. So they charge fees and back taxes, and then the state sends us a check for our portion
gotcha.
of that.
So that's almost the number that you can't budget for.
Yeah, you cannot budget it.
Payment in lieu of taxes receipts, there's pretty stable, that is for the, armory, is it?
Nope, that is an intercompany charge, electric, water, sewer.
Ah,
And
Utilities.
2 years ago, the board, it had been flat, again, left over from prior to merger from the trustees, the village government. And it stayed at 51,000 for years. A few years ago, the board decided to increase it each year until we had a reappraisal. And the valuation could be reevaluated during reappraisal. So each year until then, it's supposed to go up by the Social Security cost of living, which is
There you have it.
2.8% for 2026.
Really? 2.8? Did you say 2.86 or 2.8?
2.8.
That's the listener's office. One of the listeners, Tom Alsheimer, keeps somewhat regular hours. Yeah. He's typically in 8 to noon. And
Alright, let's see, that was pilot, wasn't it?
Yes.
And then taxes recovery, that's another one of those things you don't know if you're gonna get them back. Hard to budget that.
So that's, an accounting rule is, we're only allowed to claim as, so delinquent taxes are an accounts receivable, but at year end, we can only count toward our fund balance what we actually collect within 60 days of the year end. So we always know that number, because we can never close that quickly. So if, our delinquent taxes on August 30th, outstanding delinquent taxes are higher than the prior year, then we have a loss. I mean, we still collect it, we don't have to write it off, we just have to take it off the current year's books. If it's delinquent taxes are lower, so we collected more than the prior year, then we have a gain. So it's just an accounting rule that you
Gotcha.
count toward your fund balance what you collect within 60 days. The rest is considered a deferred, so it's a liability on your balance sheet.
Act 60 taxes,
That's the state of Vermont paying us for the fact that we bill all the education taxes.
and that's a fixed number.
Correct, it's a percentage of.
It's a percentage.
Yep,
okay.
it's like
Another one of those.
0.001 or something.
Tax is 15% late fee, and that's.
The
we're not
state
even-
did away with it.
They did away with it. Tax abatements, errors and omissions, we're budgeting that we're gonna
A
have
loss of 4,000.
a loss of 4,000, page 5.
So just back on tax errors and tax abatements, many moons ago, it used to be a much bigger number, or potentially, because we had to pay the, and Chris as a prior lister probably knows more about that, the deadlines. So I think errors and omissions used to be, was it December? The cutoff. So anything changes that happened after that time frame. Actually, it used to be even before that. The town general had to eat, once we billed, we ate all of the changes that happened, like many moons ago. We didn't get to pass those on to the school. So once we the school was gonna get their money, and we ate all of the abatements. Now we're able to, as errors and omissions, happen, or we correct an amount on a property tax, we can add or subtract that from the school's portion. So the town doesn't have to eat the schools, if there was a write-off of somebody's, tax account, we don't have to eat the school's portion all the way through till, it's either December 31st, or the final grand list has to be lodged by approximately January 15th or 18th. So that's why it's much lower than it used to be like 10 years ago. But we have had, if there's a fire, for instance, God forbid, somebody suffers a loss,
It happens several
we
times.
will, right, we will be,
We ate some during Irene.
right. And if, the other thing that goes in there, if delinquent taxes do not get collected and end up being abated, then the town is eating the entire portion, including the
Yeah.
schools.
Which is totally in.
Any questions, comments on page 4?
So I think the only thing so far was, other than we're gonna look into some things, is we are changing the interest from 40,000 to 60,000.
Correct.
Okay, just wanna make sure on
And then we had Norwich University and
pool passes. we're
pool
gonna look at.
passes. That takes us to page 5.
So,
There's nothing requested.
right, well, 7,500 in, the cemetery fund, that's interest earnings from the cemetery money that we're able to transfer back into the general fund to use to offset the budget. Much of this will fill in as you progress with the budget and decide where to spend surplus funds. And then I'll list what this, or somebody, maybe it won't be me, will list how much of the surplus you're asking to use in this budget and what I like to put what you're actually applying it for.
Yep.
So that's why so much of it's blank at the moment, because the prior manager, there was no discussion about how much surplus, we didn't get to that point. So some of that will fill in as the board progresses with the budget.
Page 6.
Most of the things, one of the difficulties, and this is just the way I do it, another person may not, a lot of this that you're seeing doesn't have anything to do with your budget, but it actually happens, so I don't wanna not show the board or the public something that happened. So much of this is grants that come in, and that's why they're not budgeted. But we, in an effort to make sure we list everything that's happening, we include it. The surplus item, again, as the board gets further into the budget, will address any CIP interest surplus that we have, and if we wanna use that and what for. One of the changes we made a few years ago was budgeting interest income. So, since that's usually a topic, Charlie, that you look at, that $40,000 number you may want to look at. We didn't use to budget the interest earnings that we thought that would happen in the CIP. It was a zero budget, so that was always additional funds. Then we started actually budgeting that we're gonna earn interest in the CIP. 2 years ago was 71,000, last year was 87,000, the current budget's 40,000. One of the items you always have to think about is not only the interest earnings, but do you have large cash build up in the capital on an item that you're going to spend this year, so you won't have that cash building interest next year? Because much of the CIP cash is because we have a 5 or 10 year plan, so cash balances are building up to buy a fire truck 15 years from now. So if you happen to be in a year where you were having a large capital outlay because a great deal of those projects happen to be happening all at once, you might want to put that down. But we can look at that as we go through the capital more, but it's likely that you can increase that 10 to 20,000, 10 to 15,000.
So this is the 26-27 budget, and the Main Street project is gonna, we're gonna have a matching fund of a really high number. I think last time I heard it was 300,000, is that what you remember, Dave?
Oh.
But
I think
we
it's-
already
I
have,
think it's up,
So when we spend that,
I think it's double that, darling. So
600.
the last number that Jeff gave me was our match is 600,000. That's why when we get the capital, we have a lot of.
Well,
to
is
look
that includes the up that they just announced
at.
a few months back?
He gave me a projected $12 million project cost with our match being 600,000. I don't know, to be honest with you, where or when he got that
Yeah,
number.
I think it just came recently, well, I say recently, within the last
Right.
3 months.
So
so
what
it's
I
a 10%,
have,
it's a million two project, so it's gonna be
12 million,
12 million.
12 million project, it's gonna be a
600,000 to us.
10% of 12 million is a million two, and so it's a 5% match? Okay, I thought it was a 10%
No,
match.
no.
So anyway, my point being is, when we do that bridge project, all of that money that is in, that we are reserving so we can pay our portion is going to come out of the budget, and the interest that we used to get out of that money is coming down, is gonna go down, so.
I had a projected time frame of 2027. I mean, we are paying engineering bills every month, just so you know. I
Right.
mean, it's not that, yeah, they haven't done the project, but we're paying.
Yeah. In the last manager's report that we received, he gave us an update on the projected construction date, which is now pushed back 3 years from the original date.
I was gonna say, I had to 2027, is that what you're,
Yeah,
Okay.
it was,
So
the
that's
original date
27,
was last
28?
year.
I don't know, he told me 2027.
So we'll get clarification on
Okay.
that. I just got a note to do that.
Yeah, so that would, so it wouldn't be a midsummer start, it would be an early construction season
Amen.
start, so it'll be 27, that, I can do that. Okay.
Okay,
That was page 6, right?
that was page 6, yes.
All right, so the question about item, again, 4710, the 40,000, for interest income, I think we can bump that up. Maybe.
Yeah.
If we bump the revenue side up.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I think I'm already at over 40,000 for this year. So you can probably go up to 50 anyway. We might wanna, you could do 50, and then as we go through the CIP and look at those projects,
Yeah.
see if we wanted to go higher, but
Okay.
let's be conservative on your.
Yes, I like that philosophy.
Page 7. Manager expenses note. First off, we all know that the manager not only gets funds from the town general, but he also gets paid through the water, sewer, and electric. Do we have an overall cost for the salary for the budget,
Yep, that
budget
was
for
in
the
your,
manager?
that was the note, 100, well, salary only, what I have put into the budget was $115,230. That was one of my questions, whether the board, how the board wanted to handle that.
And what I'm hearing is that's low out of spec for a manager for today. A replacement manager. It's closer to 130.
And just the other
That
unknown,
also depends on what the board comes up with a final decision on what that position entails.
State law.
No, I've said this in open meeting. Does it make sense to have the manager the last manager we had seemed to have a lot on his plate and dropping a lot of balls. And utility may be an area to look at, to relieve the manager of that responsibility. So we have to look at, you know, what the board decides on what that position is gonna look like. So putting the cart before the horse, because there's been no final decision on that. We're just starting that process.
Right, so, we're doing the budget, what do we haven't made that decision, we have 6 weeks to get the budget done.
That's right.
And we have a financial manager that's not gonna be there for 1 week of that at least.
Well, we could add it if we come to a decision that it's gonna be, I do agree, I think that the current level is inadequate. But the total job description hasn't been finalized for a new manager, in my mind. Yep. So what were you gonna propose, Charlie, to increase it by
Just up to
15,000?
130?
That's prudent.
Okay.
It always can come down.
And just the other big variance, so that you know, I put in a two-person plan. It can be single, two-person, family. I put in a two-person.
He might have a family of 6.
Well, 6 or 3 doesn't matter,
Right. Once it-
but more than 2 does.
So if
Alright,
you,
so.
if you just drop down, there's not a lot of changes in this, from the budget. You can, this is O&M. It's pretty stable overall. If you see anything that jumps out, speak up. But, you know, insurance is gonna go up, I know that, because of litigation that we've got. Our expenses are gonna go up by whatever percentage, however passive does it. So,
What page are we on, Charlie? I'm sorry.
7.
Got it.
So what, there's hardly, it's only $50, it's really immaterial. Mileage depends on how you structure the new manager and a vehicle, and, I don't think Jeff hardly ever turned in mileage. And then the public officials, we don't have the 2026 bill, that's on a calendar year. So usually I adjust for what the 2026 calendar year is, and then I add another 5% on that, because we have we have 6 months of each, but we don't have that bill yet. So I don't know what January 2026 will bring us. So we just bumped it.
And we make that final adjustment if we know it before we make a
We
final
do.
budget.
We'd make a final, if we know it, but 6 months will still be unknown. Okay.
Any discussion, further discussion on page 7? Page 8?
I think, so again, those are the pay adjustments that are our manager's discretion. Except the stipend, elected treasurer was, I think they requested 6 and the manager changed it to 5780. I think they just added 5%.
So, you thought it was what percent?
I think he added 5%. Hold on, so 5,500 times 56, yeah, added 5%. The request, I believe, was to go from 5,500 to 6,000.
What line item?
5012.
Got it.
Trying to find And we,
Oh, there's word 5%.
so, and I should make a note, I'm not comfortable with the column says request, it was not the request. Maybe I'll put first draft or
Yes,
department head requests are not reflected here.
correct.
Okay.
Pretty much everything tracks with actuals. We've got office equipment maintenance, we had a spike of $1,102, but overall, 500 covers it except for that particular year.
And when we get to the board level and we dig into this and we have questions,
Board of Civil Authority, page 9. Do we have any idea when the reappraisal is going to occur? We do
I
not.
do not, off the top of my head, I'm blanking out on that.
I'm trying to remember.
Kim had said that, we'd have town meeting, we'd have a primary, this is 26, 27.
We don't have a town
The
meeting.
primary won't happen in that fiscal year, actually. She said August of 27, that's the next fiscal year. So. But Jeff had, she had put 2,200, Jeff, the manager decreased it to 1,800.
You good to go on page 9?
Yep.
Page 10, accounting?
I do not know what the conversations have been. With
Well,
hiring with versus where we're at, well, I a little bit know where we're at with that. I don't know what salaries have been discussed, if anything has been discussed.
we don't know who even the discussions are, but we have a pledge from the interim coming in, that I think will be appointed tomorrow, that he's gonna participate in that.
I know one particular person was brought into the building, came in twice.
Was that a guy?
No.
So
was a
we
Northfield
have,
person.
Oh, you're saying an accounting financial director candidate.
A candidate
Yeah.
for finance director.
As far as I'm concerned, there's been no final,
no, there's
There
been no
has-
final
no.
decision, but there's been a
think it
male and a
was
female
close.
that
right,
have come
exactly.
in, that have interviewed. From the emails we've got, just so everybody knows, any emails that have been sent to the select board, I put in an interim file, so the interim manager will know who at least has contacted us, and sometimes, they've followed up with us to say, I haven't heard anything back, so that will
I
be.
think there has been 3 serious candidates that I know of.
You know of more than me. I was told of 2.
Well, I think they're 2 actives. One is a long distance and one is fairly close.
2 are fairly close.
Oh, so
Well,
the
if you
long
can-
distance,
St. Johnsbury, do you consider that long
no,
distance?
no, I'm thinking the main one,
Oh, yeah, no, that's a remote one,
yeah.
right.
Oh, that was like months and months ago.
It's still active.
Well, that would be news to me. Yeah,
Well,
I only know,
those are the 3 that I'm
okay,
referring
I only
to.
know of one that came in
Okay,
here.
Like I
only know of
said,
one.
Well-
we're in the blind.
We're in a blind, we don't know. Communications didn't exist. So,
So the budget's in as a 2-person, just so you know, for my position. Part of the increases in this budget is, recent staffing changes and, pay adjustments that went with that. And also, the prior bookkeeping staff was a single plan current is a family plan. So it's adding to why that,
What did you say
Increase.
about your position? A two position, did you say?
oh, mine, for my position, I budgeted at a 2-person,
Got it.
just because it's in the middle of,
I misunderstood
yep.
it. Okay, very
It's
good.
just in there as a 2-person for mine.
Yep. Very good.
And then all of the costs for accounting, except 4%, is captured here, and then 41% of this budget is billed for the accounting fee as an intercompany charge to electric, water, sewer. 4% of one staff member is directly billed to the ambulance department, again, just on the trying to identify costs that are associated with the ambulance. And also so that we don't bill the electric, water, sewer for that time that is spent directly on ambulance.
Any further discussion on page 10?
Not at this moment.
Page 11, listers. We've got an increase of,
Pretty minimal.
yeah.
The request was 15.5. But the actual was 11,290, so,
And a small portion of that went to an assistant. The chair was, the majority of that was going to the, how did that work? As I remember,
the,
Charlene,
has her own line item. What's the next line item, part-time?
Yep.
yeah,
She has her own line item. The first line are elected, so the 3, which
thank you.
for the most part is 1, with some, it's just their arrangement.
Thank you for that.
And then, Miss Lathrop is not elected and is a part-time employee, so she's in her own line item.
And she was getting 3%.
There is currently no change. There's currently not necessarily a change in the lister's hourly rate included in the budget, but again, it's just a lump sum number. It doesn't mean that the new manager couldn't make an adjustment. There's 13.5 budgeted, that's, but there wasn't a specific discussion that I'm aware of about a hourly rate change.
And the request was for
15.5
the total of 15.5,
for that line item
was 15.5.
that the prior manager put to 13.5. The request was 15.5. Correct.
And when we do a reappraisal, we bump that up considerably, right? But it comes out of the reappraisal.
Labor will not come out of the reappraisal. Our in-house labor comes out of operating budget. The finance director could we pay out of the operating budget because of taxes, and then they could you'll see scattered throughout the budget, like transfer labor and equipment to a grant. So we pay it out of the O&M, and then we could transfer a cost. But the majority you have to be careful about doing that, because if you think you have, whatever it is, 200,000 in the reappraisal budget to hire a contractor, well, then you can't be charging in-house labor also, you won't have enough money. So, because the majority of the appraisal will be contracted out. So it probably should be a discussion with Tom about the timing of your reappraisal and how he sees that process working.
I'm gonna just step out and ask, see if Tom's here.
They leave at noon.
What's the historic, Ben, what's the history been on that when we go through a reappraisal as far as the listers are concerned?
Certainly lister input increases, I mean.
Yeah, so the expense will increase.
I would suggest yes.
Yeah.
Lori, where would the contracting for the listing firm, the appraisal firm be?
It's in the CIP,
That's what I thought.
yeah. Cause they've been building that account,
Yeah,
so.
and the last I heard, we were in pretty good shape. And
I
the
have a
last
couple hundred to,
last I heard that, have you heard this, that the state was trying to, put towns on a schedule where, Charlie, do you remember discussing, when and how this reappraisal will take place? And what the state's involvement was in trying to stabilize securing of firms or?
No, it was unclear, the, process, cause I took away that they were trying to redo the reappraisal process, offer something different, and I don't,
Yeah,
and there was no
there
follow-up
was
on
something
that.
there, yeah.
You keep
you
up
mean
with that,
going
Chris?
to a rolling
No, I've been
reappraisal,
this
or
league
What's that?
investing for quite some time.
you don't mean going to a rolling reappraisal?
No,
Okay.
I wish I remembered
There's
it.
$214,983 in the account for the next reappraisal.
What's the number of that?
$214,900.
No, the.
Oh, it's on page
CIP.
39.
Yeah. CIB.
All right, further questions on number 11? I'd like to talk to Tom about, line item 501.
Yep.
He is not in his office. Fire department is page 12 for O&M. And nothing's changed in the first few lines. Another $1,000 into dispatching. I presume that is because of the population and the increase with our dispatcher, and I don't see a great deal of difference, little drop from personal protective equipment from 9,000 actual to budgeted of 14,000, so we're
So I'll
taking.
tell you, the request was for 16. And we did not have department head meetings, so I can't elaborate on that request.
Well,
The
I would
department had
assume we're gonna
requested
have,
16,000 for personal protective equipment.
what line was that?
835.
835.
Okay. And it was how much?
Request was 16.
Yeah.
Are there any other requests in there that are so different? I know on CIP there is.
Yes, salaries was the same, recertifications, 11,000, that's $1,000 difference. Dispatching was 23,000. School training was 1,000. I'm just saying the bigger ones.
Yeah.
Gas diesel was actually lower. Gas diesel was only 2,000. 11,000 for vehicle maintenance, 11,000. My presumption there is the department had looked at the 24-25 actual, which was 10,500, and so requested 11.
Well, the chief normally comes to us during our budget deliberations. Is that correct?
Generally, the board just, your time frame is,
Yeah, well, but before I leave
That's-
today, I'd
yeah.
like to have a schedule of what we're gonna do.
so, personal protective and vehicle maintenance are probably the two biggest variances.
About
Sorry.
6 to 7,000
PPE and what?
total.
Vehicle maintenance, the request was 11, I presume because the actual was 10,500.
So it's 3,000 there, and it's
6,000.
6,000.
Okay, anything else on page 12? Page 13, there's nobody to talk to. I asked, Brian, and he was not informed, he's not been told anything. We're gonna have, this is gonna be a challenge to budget this with a crystal ball. I recommend that, we just level fund it except for salaries and associated costs.
You mean contract obligations related to positions?
Right,
Right.
Well, do you mean you want me to go back, you're gonna keep the budget that's there, you want me to go back and change items to match the 25-26 budget, except for contracted items? Because that's two different things.
that's,
For instance, state records management, the budget was 8,000, the prior manager dropped it to 7,500. Do you want me to leave it, you want me to change everything to be exactly the 25-26 budget, except for what we know is,
I would level fund with everything except for contract, obligations and associated expenses. Dave?
Well, I'd have to analyze it a little. Off the top of your head, do you know the differences?
Well, it says, that it's a 12% increase, subtotal for, between, personnel services, so the bottom of, the 500 column,
Yeah,
you got the subtotal. We appropriated last year $1,055,780. This year, the 26-27 request is $1,191,000.
which is a 13% increase.
Right, and there's a $15,000 increase in overtime. We don't know, we will
Right.
have a better idea tomorrow what is going to be offered for police coverage if we can get there. So, we don't need to change.
Well, let me ask Lori. It may be prudent to level fund except for those positions that are in the contract and have that increase reflected in the proposed budget. And then once we have, when and if we have an interim chief, we can make some adjustments.
Just,
the five,
wait a minute,
six-
let me just hear what you said, the level fund, and then, the increases for the known contract increases.
Positions,
That makes
yep.
sense, all right.
I'm gonna step that down a little, so skip 500s for a minute, personnel. Contract admin and materials and supplies, I can level fund, we're talking $1,000 one way or the
Yeah,
other.
that's
It's
what
not
I'm
a big
saying.
deal.
That's not a big deal.
So we can do that. Personnel. There are vacancies, a lot of them, so
Right.
I would not, there isn't really anything to level fund to, right?
No, I'm saying the vacancies that are in place are covered by the contract, correct?
The vacancies in place are covered by the contract, but there's 20 steps that we could hire 3 different individuals anywhere within those 20 steps. That's
See what
why
you're saying.
on that, I gave that notice of where I
Yeah,
chose to put people,
so
just to have a budget.
let's review that again so I have better understanding.
So there are 3 vacancies.
Yeah,
I put one in that not if we hired them today, but if we hired them today and then did a pay adjustment in July, what their July pay would be.
okay.
Makes a difference because we've had that error in the past. Don't hire, you have to hire them lower than what you want to pay them in July. So for one of the vacancies I had at $41.13 per hour. The other vacancy I had at $37.81 per hour. And the third vacancy at $38.73 an hour. And I believe those are all, I'll tell you in a minute, like they're like steps, 7, 8, 9 type of area.
Why is
so I
the
put-
four,
If we hired them today, it would be step 13, step 9, and step 10 is where I put them, so sort of in the, around the area of what
What we were,
yeah,
okay.
we were paying
Well,
one of
that's
the
a prudent-
officers.
I mean, that's approved for planning, I mean, that could change.
Right, and then I didn't put anyone in a single plan, I think that would be grossly wrong.
Yep.
I put
I'd
two
much rather
person
do
and
that.
one family.
is the $47.45, is he not considered a vacancy?
Not unless something's happened that the accounting department has not been made aware of. That person is still an officer. Out on leave.
I thought it was, okay, I thought
Not to my knowledge,
I thought that it was a medical thing and he was gonna get done.
Nothing
know
has
that was a talk,
transpired.
but there was nothing
There was a,
official.
right,
Okay.
there was a brief
Discussion.
Yeah,
comment.
All right, thank you for that, we will leave him there.
And then the chief, rather, again, that's the area of
Yes.
ballpark that we wanna stay with.
okay.
Okay,
General question? That's the chief and how many officers?
this budget is, the chief, 5 officers and 1 dispatch.
That's down from 6 officers previously.
Correct.
Yes.
Are we not gonna run a 24/7?
So let me remember the conversation that happened 2 years ago. I believe that, I'd have to go back to my notes, Chris. I'd rather do that and get back to you with that. Because I believe the way the schedule was proposed, that we would still have it. With the 5 officers. Is anybody here to help me with
Well,
that one?
if you're having 24-hour coverage, five people will give you a year's worth of 24-hour coverage with vacation and all that. The problem is cops have to do the court thing. So the idea is to have a chief cover when the cops are
Yeah.
in court.
Yep.
And then you look at injuries. I'm a little disappointed. I thought the 24/7 efficiently to run a department was
Six.
6 officers. And I think if you take a look at what Norwich does, they have a chief and 6 officers.
Okay.
And that's for a smaller population than what we deal with. Just FYI, I think because of injury and training, if the decision is not to do it 24/7, then that's another decision.
That decision has not been made.
You know,
I think to run it 24/7 efficiently. I understand the previous chief had a disagreement there. He thought he could run it with 4 officers, and maybe we can, but maybe it shouldn't be a 24/7. Thank you.
We can look at it, certainly.
Thank you, sir.
So one other line item in that particular budget, which again, we can leave for full board discussion, will be overtime. And
Yes.
that's always
So let's review that right now, so,
and just to clarify, for some, I mean, I sort of know why, but we don't do this in any other budget. Overtime due to holiday is separated from overtime. So when you look at overtime, it's 65,000 or 79,000. We really have 2 overtimes we're paying. So we really paid 89,000 worth of overtime. At some point, the budget, they wanted to separate overtime that we're paying because it's a holiday and they're getting holiday pay. So if they work 12 hours on the holiday, they're getting holiday pay, and then the 12 hours of work is that time and a half. That's the same for anyone else in our area. But in this budget, I just wanted the board to remember that there are 2 line items that are overtime. Regular overtime and then overtime due to holiday.
okay.
So anyway, it's currently budgeted for 65,000. And I think for the 23,000 in overtime due to holiday, I simply said if we had 5 officers, half of them would be working in overtime and half wouldn't. I mean, I have no way of knowing who, you know, how many officers will end up working on a holiday. Cause you have daytime, you have nighttime, it depends on when they start, whether it's, would be considered the overtime, the holiday. Doing their timesheets is a lot of fun.
I get the sense that, once things stabilize in the police department, you'll have 3 officers at a minimum for, the rest of this year.
This
That's
fiscal year or calendar year, that's only a week.
Well, really, what do you got left? It's only, right?
So I mean, the
Next 52 weeks.
the 65,000, it was 71,000, 51,000, 79,000. Oh, we put in 65,000. I'm not sure,
But we know we underspent
yeah,
in the open positions.
well, yes and, well, yes. So generally, that would mean we're paying somebody else more
Right,
overtime to
right.
cover. But we've been so understaffed, there is no one else to pay overtime to cover. So, yeah, you know, we'd have to look at the argument, could be it actually is a little bit low. I'd have to think, through June of '25. I don't think the officer was out on medical leave. I think I think they
That
were
was
here.
pretty close.
I think they were here for the majority of that year.
June of 25?
Yeah, the year ending June of so the amount that's equal to 79,000. So I think 65 at the moment is probably the best estimate you're gonna have until we
It's gonna
kind of
be,
get some further information.
we need all of our crystal balls with fresh batteries.
It's just that's
for that.
always a number to look at.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Page 14 shows a 1.5% decrease on the administrative and a 8.4% decrease on material
But I'm
and
gonna change
supplies.
that, cause you asked me to level fund.
I'm having second guesses about that because of Chris's comment about the 24/7 coverage, which I had thought.
But it's a decrease, so if anything, it would go up, not, I mean, so if I level funded, at least it wouldn't be a $3,000 decrease. We're decreasing one by 670 and decreasing the other by 2950. Most of which is the uniform budget that I was concerned about, because if we have a full set of officers, I mean, we only spent $2,000 last year.
I would go back to level,
Yeah,
I would. And then we can address the 24/6 officer.
Okay. Ambulance.
We should probably start the conversation by saying that there has been a vote to unionize. And there's a lot of unknowns in that because there's been no start of negotiations or labor schedule proposals made. There is a projected date of January 27th, I believe, was the union's proposal to meet with management. And the negotiating committee, which is Lydia and who else, Charlie?
I forget.
Well, it's not me. I can tell you that.
That was very quick to,
Well, I've had,
I think it's Mary.
I think it's 11, I've done 11 of those. And, so with that unknown, where do we start?
Well, certainly having a 9% salary increase across the board from ambulance, that doesn't get me very far. That exceeds all of our employees' pay increase, I believe. So that's the rest of the staff, as you remember in the cover document that Lori had, the all others, so we discussed the unions, those are fixed. Mid-Charlene Pool Director was 3%, and all others was 5%. To have a 9% labor increase in the ambulance department is, that dog doesn't hunt in my mind.
So current 23.
the prior manager put in roughly between 3% and 4%. It varies per category, but just calculating these out. He
And
didn't
do
add a
these-
percentage, he just put in an hourly number,
Yeah, and all these are subject to
right? But they come
a
out to
union
3%.
contract negotiations, correct?
Depending by, yes, this is an unknown for me, dealing with a union that's not a full-time department. It's, I don't know how that's gonna proceed,
Well, that's why I said what I said at the very beginning of this discussion.
right? Right,
This is a
So-
crap suit here because we have a department that's unionizing and there's been no negotiations done yet.
right,
So how do you budget for that?
right. I would, well, yeah, and because there's gonna be a union, I don't wanna say something that's out of line outside of, you know what I mean, you have to be careful
Yeah,
of
yeah,
comments made, so
Right.
you can very quickly say, we shouldn't talk about that. But to me, part of the discussion is gonna be what the community and the board sees the future of that particular department. In my personal mindset, that hasn't been and hasn't needed to be thought of as a private enterprise or a
Exactly.
profit. I have absolutely no, personally, as a taxpayer, I have absolutely no problem. That part of my tax bill covers the ambulance department, and I pray to God I never have to use them, although we have. But I know that if I need to call, they are there. So I don't have any problem with my taxes going to support that department. Meaning, I don't feel that the ambulance department needs to necessarily be a profit-making department. That's sort of more toward the revenue side in the rate increases. And then as far as the boards is, you know, how the board feels toward that that mindset. Do we want to move more toward a profit-making enterprise situation or not? And you know, do we want to be trying to keep our services more local, or do we want to expand those? And I think that's gonna drive some of the requests that were made in the,
And so for profit, you are, just so everybody's talking the same language, you're talking about transfers, right?
well, I was talking about the whole department, meaning, I don't think we need, personally, I don't feel we need to just keep having rate increases necessarily to make more money and generate a profit. I have no problem with the ambulance department not being total revenue, does not cover total expenses.
Right.
Meaning part of my tax bill covers that department. Because I pray to God I never have to use them. But if I need them, I know they're there. So I feel I should have to pay part of my tax bill to have that service. So that's why it was kind of dual-sided. I'm not necessarily in favor of continued rate increases year after year, unless we have an underlying reason for that, besides building a profit. But then there's, on the expense side, there's just the, do we want to continue with non-emergency transfers? Do we want to limit those transfers to a more local area? Do we want to, or not? Do we want to do transfers to a larger surrounding area? If we do, we need to look at, you know, vehicle maintenance and coverage. And again, I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
Vehicle replacement.
And, right, and you
Yes.
just have to look at all of those pieces together. That's all. I wouldn't necessarily think that part of that is part of the union negotiation, but perhaps it is, so
So my question then would be, I agree with what you're saying, taxpayers should be bearing the burden for emergency services. But how much should they
Right.
be bearing the burden? And do we have too small of a department, do we have a too large of a department, or do we have just the right size department?
I think this is a large topic discussion that
yeah.
needs a lot of time. And hopefully the union negotiation will, could be extremely beneficial to that, because it gives both parties the opportunity to delve into those pieces in more detail.
But more importantly, how does that affect the budget we're discussing?
That's a timing issue that is an unfortunate
And
A lot of
problem, only,
unfortunate
and
timing.
I don't mean problem
And-
because of just the timing of it, that's all.
I better refrain from what I was gonna say, so
Yeah.
I won't say it.
So your, the 26, 27 requests are done by the manager? Or is that from,
Correct, that is not the department head. Department head requests are, this budget is, that's why I'm gonna change the title to say first draft, not request.
Yeah.
Department head requests are not necessarily shown within this. They may have happened to request the same number, but
And you know of what those requests were, or do not?
she's
would
got,
they,
should
I
be
do
in
know.
your,
Department.
should be, there's a,
There was
ambulance.
a separate section, I don't know,
For
I
ambulance.
didn't copy your book, so I'm not sure that you got those or not.
In the front.
Yeah. So
Got it.
like
Ah, I
this-
see.
this was
So
in-
that's what that is.
Yeah,
Okay, very
so,
good.
Let me flip quickly to, because,
I didn't understand what that was.
oh, yeah, so this was what, the ambulance department turned in
All right,
for a request, and she did a write-up.
thank you.
But especially with the timing and the approach to this budget, I didn't even calculate what those requests would mean in a dollar amount.
100. Well, I'm doing the math right now.
Right, but I mean, like, I didn't calculate FICA based on all of those numbers, or
It's approaching 200,000.
the other thing we need to be, the more the time frame increases, coverage, we're gonna have to really look at, this is, at the moment, considered a part-time department other than the director, or the ambulance supervisor. So, depending on what way this goes and how much additional coverage, we're gonna have to be careful about benefits. And when beamers will come into play,
Yep.
when mandatory health insurance will come into play. Outside of, I mean, I know it's part of the union negotiation, but outside of that, we need to be aware of what the state laws are considering that. Emergency services are a little different, so, we would probably need to do some research along that lines with what are the requirements exactly. Because for instance, unemployment, emergency calls are exempt, so we don't report emergency calls when we fill in the state unemployment report. So responding to a call and responding to a fire, that emergency isn't, so it's complex, it's not an easy answer one way or the other. It's a little more complicated when you're dealing with emergency services.
Okay, it's a complicated budget. We're not gonna spend any more time on the ambulance department budget.
Today, but we gotta spend time on it.
Yeah, Dave and I will talk to,
Drop it.
the interim manager when he comes in the 5th of January. So that takes us to page 17,
Yes,
and that is town highway expenditures,
correct.
up 3.6%.
So one of the personnel is really, the technical line item is really set by union contract. We currently have a full staff. So the real unknown there is overtime. 23-24 was 57,000, 24-25 was 85,000. There were vacancies, water sewer employees were covering quite a bit. So that probably, was some of that, that increase. So the prior manager put in 52,000. I do not, did you meet with? Okay, I didn't get any other numbers.
I didn't go into O&M, I went into capital.
Okay. I, just to clarify, I do not have a department head request for this particular budget, so
You won't, because it wasn't.
Correct.
right. So the little history, for years, the town highway foreman, the manager, and myself sat down together at the
Right.
same time and developed the budget.
Right.
As opposed to other departments where they submitted a separate actual formal piece of paper that says, here's my request. For years, however it came about, I'm not sure, but at least the manager and the foreman, and usually myself, sat down and we went through the budget together, and they brought up their areas and their concerns at that time, rather than submitting a formal. But I just didn't want you to look in the front of the book, cause you won't find
No, I was
anything
already
there.
told that.
Yeah. So the other, but I know, as far as O&M, so overtime, always a question. The other, probably larger one will be vehicle maintenance. And that question you'll come back to that. We'll come back around to that again when we talk about equipment. CIP, sorry. But vehicle maintenance has been just crazy. So 22, 23, 99,000, 112,000, 151,000. We're budgeting 75.
What line?
816/825, about halfway of the
Yep.
800s.
Got it.
So, some of this discussion, you may wanna come back to after the board talks about capital and the whole question of, do we need to increase or shorten, I'm not sure how you say that, do we need to replace our vehicles sooner? so that they're, under a warranty period. So we get rid of them while they're still under the warranty period, or at the end of the warranty period. In the past, I personally have not been in favor of that, but the reality has to hit that I think that discussion needs to happen.
Well, look at the cost.
Yeah, that's just
Cost benefit analysis tells
It's
you
just-
something.
crazy. So the budget is only 75,000, and again, 99, 112, 151 on actuals. So that's a key item that you will probably want to relook at.
Excuse me, we're coming back, just ask a question back on 504. Why the increase 448? I'm 448, 240.
Why the increase?
I'm just curious, I'm just looking at the run rates here, it seems we really pushed that one.
Well, it's actually, that is based on, well, we've had vacancy. So in 24, 25, there was a lot of vacancy,
I
which
see.
is why the overtime is up. Because we had vacancies and we had, we had the water sewer department helping on overtime, helping to plow. So the technical line is existing employees. We have a full department. Existing employees, existing pay rates based on union contracts, mandated increases.
And we're down one person currently.
We are not.
We're full staff now?
Yeah,
We've been full staff
he doesn't have, the
for,
newest hire doesn't have a CDL though,
right.
Okay, thank you. When did that happen?
2 weeks ago.
Oh, well, I guess I'm not too far out of it. Thank you.
10 days ago maybe.
I don't know. Within the last month.
Thank you.
Kind of
Appreciate
lost
it.
track of time.
I think it
Yes.
was a Monday a week ago.
That's as of right now, it could change tomorrow.
Yep.
All right, I was thinking about the employee before that. Yes. Recently, you're right. This is the first time sheet, so 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so. You know,
This 24-25 actual, do you remember whether, which piece of equipment ran that bill up so much?
I'd have to look, I think there were multiple,
All right, never mind. I
Yeah.
don't need to hang you up on that, cause we'll do that in CIP.
I think it's 2014.
I thought either the
Looking back,
excavator or.
looking back at the warrants that we approved, I remember being 2014 vehicle, being a large source of maintenance. The grader being some, part of that.
Yep.
Well, I know John just
We-
loved the
I think it was
western
the
western
excavator.
star.
We rebuilt the engine and the grader, if you recall. And then the next year, we were told we need a new grader.
I think that was prior to, I don't think that shows up on this budget. It might have been the 20, no, not the 22, 23. I think the grader rebuilt was, prior to what's on this budget. I think it was in 21.
I think, oh, the complete rebuild on the grader, that like 40,000, we
Yeah.
paid that out of CIP.
Oh, okay, so that's not even
The
reflected.
planned rebuild was, yeah, that's not in there.
Well, there goes my theory.
I'm pretty sure, anyway. I'll double check, I'll just look through that, it's like on the tip of my tongue, it was one of, well, I think it's been everything, it's been an extremely difficult year. Then we have the 2014, the truck to replace the 2014, the truck has been purchased, but it's being outfitted, so we don't have it yet. And the one to replace the 2005 has been, because they were purchased at the same time, outfitted, but we don't have it yet, it's being outfitted. And then we bought a used International to fill in while we're waiting for those vehicles.
All right, we'll talk about that with CIP
Yeah.
18.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Just, I didn't know, Lori didn't know, I don't think, when she put this budget together, that the, cost of salt has gone up 10%. I just got that information today. It went from $90 a ton to $101 a ton, $101 and change.
Again, I didn't put this budget together, Mr. Morse.
Oh, thank you. So whoever, that's new, if that was shared, who knows what happened, but anyway, the salt is,
Probably low.
salt is low.
Yeah,
It's $55,000 this year, we can expect it to go up, at least 11%, I think.
And Charlie, your the proposed is 60,000?
55,000, it's gone up 11%, which would be, 10% would be 5,500, so probably 62.
But we spent 63,000.
Oh, all right.
55 was the
And that
budget.
fluctuates.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Depends on the year.
yeah.
And your request is 60,000?
yep,
The first draft, correct, was 60.
that'll go up some.
So you've got actuals and you've got your 11%.
I would say go with 65 to make up that
Bobby?
63
The number I
for a
wrote.
buffer.
Are they? I thought Ken made extra copies of the budget.
Well, are you saying,
Oh, what, maybe he only made 2. I thought he was making 3 or 4 extras. Oh,
I know he brought one to, Chris just halfway through the meeting, or quarter in the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, he,
I don't mind sharing.
okay.
Just don't get too close to Chris, okay?
Really, it's bad.
Department supplies were 30,000 and we're not even meeting that by half. But you never know.
right,
Done with page 18. Cemetery. Actuals for 24-25 were 3640. We have been, what?
That's tree removal.
Tree removal, actuals for well, hard to predict. Once you have a tree removal, your actuals change, don't they?
they sure do.
3640 for 24-25, 4,000 is in the ballpark. Cemetery care contract is, seems to me like it's just doing a cost of, inflation. Is that about what that is, Lori?
It's the heat manager put in 3%.
Okay. Sexton, I forget what that is.
That's, so cemetery care contract is mowing and
Right,
sexton is laying out the plots, actual doing burials,
Okay.
digging graves, markers. The current is, also, when we sell a lot, is receiving a flat amount of that's, didn't used to happen, but,
2 years ago, I think.
yeah. So all of that's in there also. So that's sexton versus cemetery care, which is basically maintaining the grass and the road
Gotcha.
and.
okay. Any further questions on page 19? Just so you all know, it is,
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, and that's how long this meeting was slated for. After 2 hours, I think it gets sloppy.
That's why I said 3.
Thanks, Dave. You wanna get through it, O
Been
and M?
there, done that.
You wanna get through O and M and, end
Yeah.
it there? Very well, town garage expenses, O and M.
There's not a lot going on there.
No,
838, if you go down there, building maintenance and supplies, Carl said he'd like to bump that up to 7,000 based on actuals. And he's got, oopsie, that was good, nice Morse. He's going to, put in, he's gotta replace for the seals around the garage doors.
Yeah. And those aren't cheap.
And there's one garage door that he's gonna check to see if the bottom panel can be replaced without just replacing the whole garage door.
Should be legal.
I told him that it would benefit from a grinder and some paint.
alright, so it's,
So are we doing that or are we not doing that?
so that's a $1,000 increase, Charlie, is that what you're
Correct.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say you have to.
Library building, how did this come about, do we know?
Library building belongs to the town of Northfield, so the prior manager put this together.
Okay, it didn't have any input of,
Do not know.
I have not seen any input from the library.
This particular wouldn't have, this particular budget really doesn't have much input. It would be the CIP. Just generally because it's pretty, there could be some, I don't mean to downplay that, I just mean the janitor, we hire the janitor, the elevator and security contracts, telephone, the insurance is through us, the electric is us, heating fuel, so really the only thing would be building maintenance if there was something in particular that they were requesting or needed,
And we don't know if they did that or not.
and I do not know that.
All right, 22, page municipal building. CIP, I hope we're going to, add into our balance for a new town clerk, a new vault, or an expansion, I should
Just
say.
to clarify,
of
there
that
is a separate line item for the vault
Yeah,
outside of the municipal
CIP.
building.
Yeah.
vault.
In the CIP,
I do, I know that.
yep, okay.
Any questions about page 22? Hearing none. We then go to human services. And that is what we provide.
Right, well, the library, in the next two pages, the library did put together the $113,000 request. And the next two pages shows what their budget is in the request from the town
Okay,
to go to 113.
I think that
From
was
112
what
to
Charlie was
113.
referring to.
So they asked for an increase from 112,000 to 113,000, it's only a $1,000 increase, and then they provided their operating budget.
The maintenance on, sorry, page 26. Maintenance of grounds, parks and facilities. Why did maintenance go down $2,000?
What are you looking at? Maintenance?
504 on page
Oh,
26.
504.
504? Just because of the actuals?
Personnel change, no. The 504, labor is, if it's a union employee, it's based on actual pay rate and mandated adjustments per the union contract.
And this
So
is,
there's a labor change. In 24, 25, I think that was the vacancy.
okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Good.
the vacancy was the split. It's one person that split half town highway, half grounds and parks. One person, 50-50.
So that explains the health and dental, right?
Correct.
Correct. And the rest of the items, any further questions on page 26?
Nope.
Page 27? Recreation Committee,
Oh, I like that.
that's a tough one. Anybody wanna discuss that? Page 28, Conservation Expenditures. Anybody wanna discuss that? Pool. O&M for pool. And we had actuals for chlorine for chemicals of 19,249. We budgeted 24.
That was sewer. Sewer was 19.
Oh, sorry.
Chemicals were 6,900, 7,000.
So it's always been, I mean, they've gone up. Chemicals have gone up. Everything's gone up 30%.
Yeah, and they like to charge the freight, and it, whatever, they'll add on, I forgot what they call it, like not freight, but
No,
gas tax,
Yeah.
but it's not a they
I
can't
know what
tax
it
us,
is,
but,
I've seen it.
yeah. They ought to add on an extra charge.
Delivery charge.
And they never take it off.
No,
We have a CIP for pool maintenance, right?
We do.
There's a CIP for pool, yeah.
Okay.
One of the items, the board last year, put in the special events theme nights, both labor and, an expense. I don't know that occurred. So I didn't know if you may just wanna discuss whether you wanna budget that again, or I don't know if it was delayed until the 20. One of the problems with the pool is it falls over our fiscal year. So they open in one fiscal year, they close in the other fiscal year. Technically, the 25-26 budget, although it would be hard, we don't open until the middle of June, so there wouldn't be much time to do a special event. But it's possible. So I'm just saying it doesn't look like that happened this year, and I don't, that was something the board added last year that you may wanna relook at.
Yep, I got on my
And the
notes.
pool director is gonna be new for this next pool season, right?
That would be news to me.
Dave, do you remember that?
I remember many seasons we've been told that never happens.
Okay.
I haven't heard any confirmation.
So minimum wage will be going up, so there'll be some adjustment in salaries. So it went from actual of 34,400, we put it at 36,000, or the manager did. A lot of that also depends on our weather and how much we can be open or closed.
question on 50-75 special events and themes. There hasn't been any actual approximate in previous years, and that is for,
That was, yeah, what we're just discussing, that was a brand new item that was added to the 25-26 budget. We've just never had that line item before.
what is it?
And the board may wanna chime in, but to kind of have a like theme night at the pool where you try to bring in extra, additional, activities that may draw in, more public and more kids to utilize the pool, and to kind of have like maybe there'd be a pirates night, or, something,
But it didn't happen.
activity to, one, make the pool more, readily available and used, and try to get the public to realize that we do have a pool, and to utilize that facility, and so that was why I was saying, we just may wanna relook at that this year. It did not happen in the 24-25, in the 2025 season.
So we didn't utilize it. It was just-
No,
it was just
100%.
stayed there.
Way underutilized, and that's what we put the money in there, is to try and get
But that was very-
incentivized people to show up.
But I was very surprised at the revenue. in the pool went up.
I know, it's
Significantly.
still, I will tell you, still,
So that's why
Something
I
that's
have
still
always advocated to have a
troubles me.
more detailed accounting for daily users, season passes and all that stuff.
yep.
So we can make informed decisions. But I was pleasantly surprised to see that increase in revenue.
And we did not spend any of that money.
So that will be a topic of discussion.
So I think that, though, just not to forget that chemicals could be low. I mean, I know it's budgeted at 5,500. We know they're not going down. We spent 7,000 last year. Again, depends on how much the pool's open. But, although, I don't know, do we have to use more chemicals if it rains more because it screws up
We
the
do.
pool?
Probably.
So,
Yeah.
again, depends on the weather, just the opposite way of,
Evaporation, water coming in, excessive usage, dirty diapers.
yeah, okay, page 30,
Thank you.
Energy Committee,
That piece, let's move on.
31. Probably the largest discussion item is legal fees.
You think? Actuals for 24-25 were $54,000 in legal expenses. This year, this budget, well, you've got it right here. This goes to November, right?
Yeah, but that means probably October. Paid November, which means an October
Right,
bill.
so that quarter isn't gonna reflect anything because we haven't even started getting those yet.
Yeah.
So this morning before 10 o'clock, I had eaten up at least 3.5 hours of 5 different lawyers' time.
Stop running up the bill, Cheryl. Well, actually, so we're at 31,000.
6 months into the year, no, 3 months into the year.
July, August, September, October, 4 months.
4 months in the year,
So, bills paid through November 30th, which is probably October, could be November, some November, is 31,172.
and and who created this number?
The manager.
former
The
manager?
former manager.
The former manager budgeted $31,000 in October, and we'd already spent that amount this year.
Well, that number needs to be revisited, and we should probably take a hard look at it.
And how do we, I have asked council to give us a overview of what cases he's working on, because we have no idea.
Yeah, and just so to expand on that and to clarify, I also cannot look at general ledger and tell you because it wasn't actually the last manager, it was the manager before that requested that we not put this descriptions in because of confidentiality, supposedly because of confidentiality issues and so forth. So sometimes we have a better description. You do have the bills each night when you're looking at them, but just to clarify, that's one reason why it may say November legal. accounting has been directed not to put in a more descriptive for confidentiality reasons.
Well, we'll get
So
more detail.
if the
on
board
that.
wants to,
We're gonna have to bump it up, Dave.
So 31,000, 4 months in.
correct,
Well, you're throwing a dart on the wall. I'd like to get a little more informed by having discussions with current legal counsel and the legal matters that are at hand.
There's only 5 of them. I'll be happy to reach out.
And, well, we know of those 5, some of them are being represented by VLCT
Right.
and passive.
And we have a new manager come in who wants to employ, a different attorney.
Yeah, but, yeah. So I think by putting a number, we're just throwing a dart on the wall. I'd rather a little more informed decision before we put that
I
number
know,
in.
but
But,
Dave, it's,
well, what would you propose, Charlie?
I'd put in another 20,000 easy.
So 51,000.
I'm really hoping that in 26, 27, some of the legal matters that may have occurred in 24, 25 will be complete and
Yeah.
will not be there in 26, 27.
That's why I would rather
Right.
take an approach of let's assess where we are, where the possible exposure is, and I think we could come up with that.
General question, did I understand 5 being the number of situations we're dealing with lawyers on? Without
Or
getting
5 lawyers.
confidential?
We have 5 different attorneys that have melded. 3 of them are being,
So the answer to your question, Chris, there's not 5 cases.
Okay.
Right.
5
There's
attorneys.
5 attorneys
Attorneys.
because of maybe 3 cases.
Thank you, just,
Yeah.
I understand the confidentiality, so there's
Yeah.
3.
and VLC, and we have the benefit of having Vermont Leagues of Cities and Town providing coverage.
Yes.
Yeah,
But that's not 100% depending on
the
the
outcome.
situation.
Understood. Seems imprudent not to raise the number.
We're gonna have more,
Perhaps some, but
we're gonna have more
really
stuff.
hoping the same legal issues don't
They
keep
won't be,
happening.
they won't be the same issues, but we're gonna have
We
more
can
issues.
hope
We can hope all
that the
along.
snowball melts.
Really? We can have Baham-like weather,
No,
right?
I don't need that, I'm still working on the 2023 FEMA flood, I don't want another one. Which we
Let's
should
not
talk
talk
about.
about floods right
Yeah.
now.
40,000, I'd be comfortable.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then we'll revisit that.
Next page? Yes,
Oh, sorry, shall I wake up?
32?
Any other questions about page 31? Page 32, planning and zoning.
Seems very mundane. and-
The manager always does this budget, just,
There were no,
So, if, what is that? What percent increase is it 3?
but the hours vary. It's not,
All right,
not a lot, but, you
gotcha.
know, 20, 21, 9, yeah.
All right. Any questions on page 32?
no, I have none
Page 33?
at this moment.
Any questions on page 33 on O&M? Hearing none, page 34, debt.
Shoot, that just reminded me, I apologize, I did not put a 5-year schedule together. And I meant to try to do that for today, and today's the last payroll of the year, and that just didn't happen. So, 5-year debt schedule. I need to do. Oh, there's multiple things.
And page 35 is voter authorized, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Non-budgeted petitions. So just so you guys know, I would like to not have a discussion, but I would like to give you some numbers for highway that were not available in 2 places.
It'd be the last, if it's equipment, it's the last page. 62.
Right. So, one thing is, we've got a replacement, so you guys know, on the 1 tons, if we spec out a 1 ton, it's $180,000 replacement cost.
Yep.
If we buy it off the parking lot, that price comes down. And, that is and then of course you have to outfit it, but, so, the dump truck, the 09 has been sold. The, damn it, salt trucks, so the salt truck, the Chevy, there's discussion about not using the 6500 version anymore from highway. We were supposed to get, as I remember, Dave, we were supposed to get the traffic light replaced this year. It's in the budget, I think it's okay in the budget. And let me just read some notes from my meeting with Carl, if I may. All right. The dump truck with the 05 dump truck with a Mack body, that is not inspectable. Item 4 is the dump truck, the 14, the Western Tandem. We spent a lot of money rebuilding that.
Yep.
And the original intent was to get rid of it as soon as we could. It has an automatic transmission. So Carl would like to keep that for the purpose of the leaf truck and the chloride. Just to let you know.
The 14,
The 14, yes,
keeping equipment.
the 14 Western Tandem, he says, has been completely rebuilt. It's gone through it, but what he likes most about it is that it is a tandem.
So did we not
Automatic.
just buy a brand new truck to replace that?
It may end
That's
up
on
being,
order?
it may be, his goal is to keep that as a chloride and leaf truck only.
But what are we doing with the one we just bought?
The one, he wants to flip that one because it's a standard. Don't shoot the messenger.
Yep.
The other question is, as you guys, as we end this, is the, story, and you guys weren't in here, with the technology that the big trucks have today. We had a truck go down, it took 5 days for LaRoche to come pick it up, to take it up to Charlie Boys, to have it run on the computer. The computer told us we needed a $128 part, cost us $900 to get it towed up to Charlie Boys. We had to spend $128 on a part that put it back in service. We had to wait another few days for the part to come in, and then we drove it back down to town. We have,
So what's the answer?
the solution is probably long-term, that we should consider having one fleet of one type of truck. So you can then buy the computer, possibly through a partnership with other communities, so you can have the computer and have different cards for different vehicles, so you can eliminate that technology. And I don't even know if that exists, Dave, if that's a possibility, because you can't do it with a John Deere. you can't get the computer reader with the John Deere because they've made it proprietary. So if your computer shits the bed,
I think that you're gonna find that's probably the
I
case.
think it probably is, but he's looking into it, and
Yeah.
I'm not certain that, I think it's gonna be better if Steve, the interim manager, takes a look at that and makes that ruling, so.
It would surprise me if any company doing warranty work is gonna let you take your word from looking at a computer to
Exactly.
see what the problem is. They're gonna look at it before they pay for all the warranty work.
It is what it is. We have to ship our equipment out sometimes to Minnesota to get repaired, and it's quite costly.
Really? Well, is that specific for ski
For
industry?
for lifts.
Right.
We have certain lifts that gotta go to Minnesota.
Just as a social question, you say Minnesota? Does Minnesota have a ski industry?
Very limited.
Right, so, but they manufacture the stuff for
Yep.
the ski industry. Crazy. Does anybody in, public have any, online have any questions for the budget subcommittee? Does anybody in the room have any questions for the budget subcommittee?
I just
When are we-
offered the
when are we
comment
meeting?
for the
Okay.
internationals, those are unreliable to begin with.
I didn't hear what you said, Brian.
International trucks, they're just so unreliable, they have a bad rating just within themselves.
Yeah, the internationals,
Personally, me, I've been driving a truck for 27 years.
right.
I have my CDL.
The international is not normally part of our fleet,
Yeah,
so we haven't had, it-
unless you have a
the,
warranty with those.
yeah, the only reason we have
you're
the
not getting your
17,
money's worth.
the only reason we had the 17 is a temporary until we get our two other trucks. The international's not normally part of the fleet. That was a temporary purchase
So
while
Brian,
the other fleet
we
company.
had this major discussion last year. Mr. Elroy brought up this subject. The current, not superintendent,
Highway foreman?
highway foreman is adamantly opposed to that also. For
To,
some of the, well, I haven't heard the reasoning you have, but he's opposed to
International.
it.
oh.
I think.
Well,
International.
when I was town manager, I asked Mel Adams from Randolph, what kind of trucks did he use? He said internationals, and I said, and I asked him, do you like them? He said, I hate them. If you go if you go into a ditch with a load of sand while you're plowing, you bend the frame, story's over.
The biggest problem with international is the computers, the computer diagnostics. Anything with diagnostics, you're gonna pay a hefty price.
I wish we could buy like
But
5 2005s max, because those things worked.
yeah, I would make I'm not gonna make a recommendation because the point is.
Have a
but
discussion.
I will tell you that I've seen a lot of municipalities go with Freightliner for the simple fact being the parts are accessible, the services is within reason, and they can affordability for services for those trucks seem to be a lot better.
Well, it's getting,
But
it was pretty easy when you had nothing but max in your inventory.
Yeah.
Because you could salvage one, you could get a part, you could,
But those days are long gone, and the affordability on Max today are,
but you're
right, but the point being is if you standardize your rolling inventory,
I agree with that statement.
you can, okay, you got a broken axle here and you need to have an air cleaner over here.
Oh, I
Okay,
totally agree. Keep the fleet sane.
100%.
Absolutely, 100%.
but that's not where we are. We've got a little bit of everything, and, hopefully we'll be able to stabilize that over tincture of time. Any other discussion?
Well, the town of Morrisville uses strictly internationals. They've used them every day for the last 20 years, with very little problem with them. Town of Hyde Park uses strictly internationals, because they've had no problem with them. Now, some people don't, that's just the way it is.
It's like personal preference.
Because those, I've talked with
Well,
highway
we'll see
managers
how
up
this
there?
international we just bought from, what is it, Essex or Charlotte? How that
Essex.
works out. cause it's coming from a place that's flat and it's got 82 miles of road and 72 of them are paved. Now it's gonna be going through the mountains and it's gonna be on 82 miles of mud roads. So we'll see how it works.
I think we're done, aren't we?
Not yet.
Oh,
Schedule and next
Sit
meetings
your
and.
butt down. I've been wanting to say that for years.
good.
I'd like to know what the schedule's gonna be going forward. Are we going to meet as a committee one more time before we present to the board?
I think we ought to go to capital, but if we're not making, solid recommendations, I mean, we have not changed
We've
anything.
had minor changes.
Right, I mean, we're doing the obvious, which makes sense. If you wanna go through capital and do the obvious, which makes sense, we can. Lori's gone for 5 days, she's in between, that'll take her up to New Year's, and then
No, New Year's, I'm here the 29th.
Okay,
I'm just
So,
not here
yeah,
this
let's-
week. I'm not supposed to be here today, but.
So let's review this calendar then. And let's put, I wouldn't mind meeting one more time for capital.
good, pick a date.
Sounds like the 29th.
If you want me there, I mean, you guys are certainly,
You wanna do it during the day?
you can
Yeah,
do it.
I can do it.
Okay, are you good for that during the day?
Yep,
Okay,
What time is convenient for you?
that I know of, it does not matter, so.
come on, man.
1 o'clock.
1300.
Sounds good. And then, going forward, do we anticipate inviting the department heads to present their budgets?
I think ambulance needs to be here. I think Carl, I don't know if Carl would like to be here or not. There is, when we go through capital, you'll find there's a huge increase in, equipment, and it's not consumable in capital for fire, and that's because our fire hoses failed. That's a simple question, that I don't think Pete
We
needs to.
don't have a choice there. That's
Right,
just-
it's just, they got them inspected and they failed. So, let's just, enjoy the holidays and, we'll come up with a schedule. And
Okay.
You're gone when in January?
At the moment, I'm not. The agreement was if I had a family commitment, then I would not be here. I don't have a known time frame in January yet,
Okay, but you may
but
have,
you
So I-
may have one.
So I anticipate that the board may take some action tomorrow regarding a town manager. And from the timeline I've seen is that he will be here the first week in January. So, maybe after tomorrow's discussion, we might be able to come up with a schedule for, what's our timeline? So let's start with the deadline.
Yeah, I don't have exact data, but generally speaking, you're gonna need to sign a warning. I can check, Kim's on vacation. I can check tomorrow. No, I won't, I'm not here. The last week of January, you normally have to have that warning signed. It's
Got
so
it.
many days before town meeting, and I don't
Yeah.
know the exact number.
So
So-
we literally have 3 weeks.
You have
To-
3 weeks.
We have 3 weeks to finalize the budget.
Yeah, and give whoever the finance director is time to figure out all those
So
changes
really
and come
2
up with
weeks.
a,
So really 2
well,
weeks.
2.5, I
Okay.
hear they're pretty good at calculating quickly.
Everyone I've dealt with, anyone that I have dealt with has been. All right, so we have to do it in 2.5 weeks. That's what I wanted in my head.
is it okay if she makes those changes and show where the changes are and then print the budget out to the,
Yeah,
that's
not the,
Well,
no? You
My
wanna
only
do
thing
that?
is if you're having another subcommittee meeting, then,
Regarding
I-
capital,
right, why, I'd wait till after to see if you have
Okay.
capital changes, right, before I don't wanna reprint the budget with the 3 changes you made, and then,
and that,
On
and
the
that'll be
Monday,
time
you're gonna-
before that, and that'll
I
be
didn't know if
time,
O and M was something separate from, capital, so that's fine, we can wait.
and that'll be time for the next meeting.
right, so after the 29th, on the 29th, we'll talk about capital, and then, at that time, you can decide
Yep,
what changes you're gonna go forward with, and I can, change the budget pages and get everything ready for, a meeting the 1st of January, I guess.
our meeting is,
So the next budget meeting is the 29th.
correct.
Okay.
1
And,
o'clock.
so our next select board meeting is the 13th. And the 27th of January. So in between those, you gotta,
And you might have more select board meetings,
yep,
Yeah,
there's no doubt we will.
I mean, the first week of,
I can almost guarantee it.
so I'm imagining, I'm foreseeing that January 5th is a Monday, so like the 6th, 7th, 8th, the board will be meeting for a budget, full board.
Yep. Thank you for that. I make
Without
a motion-
objection,
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Without objection, we'll adjourn. Hearing none, committee meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, gentlemen, for attending.
Lori,
It's
thank
nice.
you for all you do. You are a girl of unbelievable great price. And you know where all the bodies are buried.
I might
Are
have
you
buried
making
half of
sure
them
that,
quiet.
that recording device is turned off?
No, that's fine. I gotta do important things.